This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Kieran Butler, recent graduate of our Speak to Inspire course. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about you. Where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm from a little town in Ireland called Drumculliher. There's 2,000 to 3,000 people probably. It's in the southwest. Like any young fella in Ireland, I had dreams of being a professional footballer, but that dream went out the window. So I just went with the general idea that success equals money. So I tried to get a decent job and ended up getting a degree in quantity surveying. I graduated in 2009, just when the economic crash happened. So the construction industry in Ireland had just fell apart. And so, as you do, I went to London to escape it, and worked in that job for 3 years, and really realised it wasn't for me. I only did it because of the money, and it was sucking the life out of me, that job. I like to do creative kind of work, and that really just wasn't it. So I started to teach myself programming in my spare time, and within about 6 months I had my first job as a web developer, working for free for this guy in London. And within about another 6 months I changed jobs twice more, and I was actually earning more than I was when I was a quantity surveyor, and I was loving the work. It was really creative, and it was brilliant, but it wasn't really it. I always wanted to do my own thing and try and create something myself, and that's when only this year I created something called the Captain's Log, and that's I'm not sure what direction it's going to go, but I know I want to create something myself, because I don't know, what's that quote? If you don't create your own dream, someone else is going to hire you to build theirs. So I just can't let that happen to me. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I was in London for 6 years, as I said. I went travelling, did a road trip across the US, went to Sydney for a year, and now I ended up back home, back to little old Ireland.
Okay.
Quiet little place in the country.
And what was going on in your mind before you decided to join us for Speak to Inspire? Like, what were you thinking about? Why make this choice?
Yeah, it's a hard one to say. I got married a month ago, so I was doing TOASTMASTERS for about 6 months in preparation for that, because it was going to be the biggest speech of my life, like 200 people, and like public speaking is probably my biggest fear. And I like the challenge of TOASTMASTERS, and then when I seen I seen your videos somewhere about the Speak to Inspire, something told me just, this could be for me. And I think it was when you said a quote along the lines of most men live lives of quiet desperation, and I was like, no way, that's not going to be me. And I was like, something inside me, like, I definitely want to share a message. I have a really deep urge to share what I learn, and I've probably been living a life of quiet desperation for long enough, and I was like, no, this is it. So I just went for it.
Okay. And why London Real?
I was in London when I was working in London last year, near London Bridge. A friend of mine, he was a designer. He recommended it to me because I was just getting into podcasts in like Tim Ferriss and Joe Rogan, and so I checked it out, and I've been listening to it ever since. I think it's top of my list now on podcasts. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you pull the trigger, you join the course. What are those first 2 weeks like? You fall into the private Facebook group. You got 75 students from around the world. I'm asking you to upload videos and do these modules. What's that like?
Yeah, serious panic and fear. I remember I was on my honeymoon when the first week started, so I was like, I knew my new wife didn't want me to be spending too much time doing this thing. She was like, oh, we're on honeymoon. And I remember trying to record the first video, and I couldn't record it in the hotel we were staying in Cape Town with her in the room. I couldn't do it. I don't know, and she's the closest person to me, but I just could not do it. And I had real resistance recording those first videos. Yeah, there was serious panic, fear of judgment, and just even hearing my own voice, you know, and looking at my face in my phone, I was like, oh, this is too weird, you know. Yeah.
But you pushed through it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And by the end of it, I'm like, vlogs are just a piece of cake now. They're like nothing, you know. Obviously, speaking in front of people is still a little bit of a challenge, but into my phone is just like, is nothing anymore. It's amazing. Yeah.
Talk to me about your classmates. What is it like with these people? What are they like? They're all around the world. What is that experience like?
I think that for me is the highlight of the course, because such a diverse mix of people, and to see how they've all really dug deep and, you know, got vulnerable and had the courage to share their message, you know. Even my own struggles seemed meaningless. I was like, look at these people sharing some like serious issues. Like, I just could not believe it. It was really inspiring. Like, and it really just puts things into perspective. And just to connect with them all last night in the flesh was just unbelievable. It was like we all knew each other already, because like we've shared stuff with each other that we haven't shared with our partners or closest friends, you know. And then like just to meet him in the flesh, everyone just got on like that. Everyone like knew things about me, and I was like, oh yeah, I shared that a few weeks ago. Like, yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
And I want to talk about your speech last night, but on the course, biggest thing that you struggled with besides the blogging in the beginning, and also what was the biggest win for you on the course? The biggest thing you learned or improved about your speech?
Well, my biggest struggle is anxiety, and it always has been. Like, most of my life I've been fairly crippled by anxiety in different stages. I've probably been put down a lot when I was younger, but it's down to being stuck in my own head and putting myself down. So it was just anxiety and fear, and just fear of being judged, I suppose. And that's been a real struggle for me, and that was the struggle throughout the course, and it's been like just peeling layers off the onion. But I can see I made progress, definitely, you know. And what was the other thing?
Biggest lesson you learned, or biggest module that was a success for you or helped your speech improve the most?
The hero's journey. It was, and actually probably the first speech, because trying to find your core value, like there's some deep soul searching there. Because most people don't. Even if you have a vague idea, when you actually sit down to write about this, to talk about it, you realize, oh my God, like this is deep, and it's like you have to really work on it and find out what you're about. You know, what do you want to share with the world? And when I had a vague idea of what it was before, but then when I really sat down to get into it deeper, it really paid off.
How was last night? You gave your speech in front of 30 people here at the world headquarters. You got up, you were like number 3 or 4.
Yeah.
What was that like, all your efforts kind of coming together for that?
Yeah, man, I was a nervous wreck beforehand, I'd have to say.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, but I said I just want to do this. That's why I sat in the front row. I just wanted to do it as soon as possible. And I think Caroline was the speech before me, and her call to action at the end of her speech was a meditation. Just close your eyes. And I was like, yeah, I closed my eyes, and I was like, yes, I can do this. And I just took a few deep breaths, and like it was like a calm came over me, and I just did it. And I was amazed that I actually did it fairly calmly. Like, you know, usually I'm just a mess, you know. But I got great feedback, so I kind of was fairly proud of myself. But obviously I know I'm going to keep fine-tuning it and keep making it better. And someday maybe there's a TED Talk in it, I don't know.
Not someday, this year, next year.
Who knows?
Yeah, your speech was great, really good, you know.
Yeah.
You seemed like you had definitely put some time and practice in there. So
yeah.
What did you think about seeing the rest of your classmates get up and talk and the whole evening?
Yeah, it was really good. There was a lot of speeches, so it was really good to see them do it all in the flesh, and some of them were amazing, like Jane. All of them really were amazing, and just even to see they were overcoming the same issues that I have as well, like with the fear and anxiety. And it's just not speaking about anything, it's speaking about something closest to your heart. So there was feeling in it, emotion in it. Like, it was amazing, like, to see Inga get so personal. Really, it was inspiring the whole night. And it was like a long stretch of speeches, like, without break. So fair play to the people who had to wait until the very end, because if that was me, I would probably be a total mess by the end of it.
No, but you're right. We ask you to dig into your core values in Module 1. And so you're right, it's hard. But when you do it, your final speech is about something you care about, which means that you bring a lot of passion to it. And then if you decide to be vulnerable, it becomes something very special. And there's some people with some very special speeches, last night. You yourself, what are you going to do with this? What's the next step?
Like, I signed up on a whim, really, because just with the thought of not living this life of quiet desperation. So I didn't really have a goal in mind, But I know if I'm to ever have a chance of being an entrepreneur, I need to be able to put myself out there, pitch to people, sell. So I need to be able to speak. So my most concrete goal is I'm going to keep doing Toastmasters and do one speech every month. I might sign up to a TED, well, I don't know, will I sign up to a TED Talk this year, but in the next 2 to 3 years, I think I'm going to do a TED Talk. I think I might try my hand at vlogging or a podcast or something like that, because now I have the courage to do it. I remember, like, I seen Broadcast Yourself came online a few months ago, and I was like, wow, imagine what kind of a job that would be, to interview people that I'm interested in and learn from them. That would be just amazing. But, like, I did not have the belief, that was a dream, But now, when this came up, I went for it, and I feel like I'm one step closer to maybe doing something like that. So, 2018 is going to be big. Yeah, because this year has been probably one of the best years of my life this year. So much has happened in it, I feel like I'm transitioning, like I'm 30 actually, believe it or not. So I feel like I'm transitioning from, I don't know, I'm leaving a lot of old baggage behind me, and I'm moving in the right direction. I can feel it. And I think, this is probably the icing on the cake for 2017, sitting here.
I can see it on your face. What did Speak to Inspire do differently than Toastmasters? Just so I understand, for you.
Like, the thing was, with Toastmasters, it is really good, but you're not pushed. You don't push yourself. And I remember I was flicking through a Toastmasters manual just last week, because I did my speech, I practiced it in Toastmasters last week. And I was flicking through, and I was like, oh yeah, that was in Speak to Inspire. But I would have never even bothered really looking at the manual or paying that much attention to it. And then that's when it kind of hit me that, whoa, like, this 6-week course is probably like 4 years of Toastmasters, just because of the accountability. Because that is key to pushing yourself. When you see everyone else is pushing themselves, you can't let them down. You have to do it. And, like, that has to be the main thing, about this course. And it was like, it's like a boot camp. It's like a serious boot camp of speaking, and other things as well, like the soul searching, and yeah.
And are you going to stay in touch with your classmates?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I think we're going to do 2 calls every month instead of 1, because someone suggested it, and just to keep, in case you might miss one, you can do the other one. But yeah, definitely, it'll be lovely to see how everyone progresses, And that, like, if you don't keep in touch, there is a risk of just not doing anything, and just saying, yeah, I've done this now, I've overcome it, and then in a week's or a month's time, you're just back to square one. And what would be the point in that? Like, after struggling through 6 weeks, you just have to keep going, I think.
If we walked out on the street and we bumped into Kieran that didn't take this course, how is that guy different than this guy?
I don't know. He wouldn't be as open, wouldn't be as confident, wouldn't be as willing to be vulnerable. Definitely. be very more closed. Like the shell would still be really on, you know.
Okay.
I'm a tough nut to crack. I think you might have cracked me.
Tough Irish nut. Yeah, I hope we cracked you. I mean, this, like you said, you have to get this message out there, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you should definitely think about podcasting too. If there's someone watching that's thinking about taking Speak to Inspire or another course, but's on the fence, what would you tell them?
Just do it. Face your fear, because what's that? I keep thinking of this quote, you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well have a crack at something you do, because it doesn't really matter. Like, you just have to put yourself out there. And the main thing, one of the biggest things I've learned in this course is don't look back, just keep doing things, because when you look back you judge yourself and you worry and all that then snowballs and makes you think less of yourself. But if you just don't look back and just keep challenging yourself and keep going forward, like, what's the problem? There's no problem. You just keep improving. Even if you fail or mess things up, doesn't matter. Just keep going. So that's what I'd say to people, just keep going and believe in yourself. That's like really important.
Kieran, it was amazing having you in this course, and I did say that a lot. Don't look in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Just rip it off of your windshield. And even the speeches last night, we did them. That's great. Now let's move on to that next speech. You know, and you have an amazing class. You have an amazing energy inside of you, and when you get vulnerable, people were really enjoying your speech last night. So you got a message. The world needs your message. So let's keep talking. Yeah. And I think you should broadcast yourself next year, definitely, and get on that TED stage before you think you're ready, because you're closer than you think right now.
Yeah.
Yeah? And cool. So stay in touch with your classmates and help me lead these group. I mean, there's some amazing people that really should be on that TED stage as well. So I'm looking forward to what you guys bring. All right?
Yeah. Just want to thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. It's been amazing.
The critics who always speak behind my back, maybe I want to hear them remind me, he's back, the great pretender. I hope this time he gets hurt. I love these guys. They give me fuel. If you want to reach your objective, you want to achieve it, you're going to have to be obsessive. You're going to have to be obsessed. Feel what you do. Feel it. If you're not feeling it, it doesn't matter.
It's Chris Eubank Jr. How do you explain his prowess in the ring?
Junior has that obsession, that genius, that magic. Genius is obsession, but it's in one area.
You studied the sweet science for so much of your life. How do you walk away from it? Do you miss it?
You can't walk away from it. I am it. And even when I dance, really I'm boxing. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, the one who strives valiantly.
What was the worst day of your life, and how has it shaped you as a human being?
When I fought Nigel Benn, I stood like this. It was to mask this. The risk must be taken. That's why you are London Reelers. That's why we're here. We're tired of sitting still, watching it happening for others. Let's do it.